So sorry, just say this. This has been sent in by one of the viewers, one of our fiction or football questions for the show today. And it is fiction or football. Isak joining Liverpool will not stop a Manchester City comeback next season.
In terms of what?
Well, I think he means coming back and winning the league. I would assume.
If we sign Alexander Isak and touch wood, we don't have a major injury crisis to the levels that we've had before, I think that our team beats Man City. I'll be honest, City have been very good in this Club World Cup from what I've watched. I still don't think they are back to their brilliant best that we've seen from them before. I do still think there's little bits of that squad that just aren't there. I think they've changed the stat. I think for the first time ever, they're playing to Haaland, not in spite of him. They've built a system that's designed to give him the ball in the areas where he can score goals. But I think when I look at us, for the first time, probably since, well, for the first time ever, I'd say, if we get Isak, and I'm looking at my squad as a whole, I would argue that the Liverpool squad's better than City's.
I'm still not convinced of City. I'm not convinced of their defense. Look, Ruben Diaz, solid defender. Edison's a solid goalkeeper, but they need they need another centre back. They obviously signed Aït-Nouri. He's a wonderful player, and it looks like they're going to stick with Rico Lewis, I believe, as their right back. I think it's just not enough, and they're in their transition period as well. I still think they need more. I really do, and for me, if we do sign Isak, I think we're just above and beyond everybody else, in my opinion. We've already had the team that won the league and coasted to it and built a 15-point gap when about 7 games left to go. We were too busy partying in Dubai. If you add 2 arguably world-class players, one of the best left backs in the Premier League last season, and a promising right wing back as well, I just don't see anyone else catching. I believe Arsenal's the closest team, and they're not even that close.
No, City are closer than Arsenal.
I think it's football.
I don't know.
I think Pep, when Pep's on it and he's at the top of his game, there's nobody better than him. And City have a squad that can win the league. City will choke teams out. And let's not forget, they're getting Rodri back as well. Let's not forget that, because that's big for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, massive.
They can choke teams out, dominate teams. They can win 15, 20 games. All the cliches about Man City should be back at the start of next season. So basically the question is, if Liverpool sign Isak, are they guaranteed to get 95 points? Or if Pep's at his best, are City guaranteed to get 95 points? And I'm more willing to put my hat on Pep Guardiola than Isak.
I mean, you'd be more willing to, because City have done it before. I just look at us last year before that. I think our cut-off was like April. I think everyone sort of knew we won the league in April. We went 26 games in the league unbeaten last year. Like that's like the 8th longest run in Premier League history, and we've done that in the first season with no signs. Now, my basis of this is Arne Slot is now getting to transition. Last year, Arne Slot was playing Jurgen Klopp football with little tweaks of his to try and sort out issues that were there. Now, I think we're seeing the switch, shall I say, which I think we'll see in pre-season, to an Arne Slot style of football with elements of Jurgen Klopp still remaining in it, where we'll see us focused more on, slower, methodical build-up through the lines. I expect us to hold a bit more possession next year. I don't think we'll be, as focused on the transition. But if I'm adding all these key players to a squad that, went 26 games unbeaten last year, was on course for, I think, 97 points. So I know the squad has it. I know that a lot of these players have done this before, because we still have a fair few members of the squad that were there in both 2022 and 2019 and 2018. So we do still have that experience there. I don't think it's a million miles away. I think that I agree Pep Guardiola is a better manager than Arne Slot. But in terms of a squad makeup, I do think Liverpool's squad as a whole is slightly better at the minute. If you're adding in Isak, that is.
I think the difference between Pep and Slot is bigger than the difference between the City squad and Liverpool squad.
Really?
Yeah, in that sense, yeah, but I think it comes down to what gets weighted more. So, like, in reality, the manager's better, but it's irrelevant how good Pep Guardiola is if next season, Doku suddenly goes to a bad run of form, or Haaland can't score, and the system that's built around these players falls apart, type thing. So, yes, Pep is a better manager than Arne Slot, and the gap, like you said, is bigger. But I think that it's the weighting more so to the squad side of it. Pep Guardiola wasn't a shit manager last year. He was still the same Pep Guardiola, but when the squad can't do what he needs it to do, shit hits the fan. Now, I'm not saying City will have another crisis like they did last year, where Rodri was out the whole season and they were constantly rotating between three centre-backs being injured. But if it's not 100% ideal, we have seen that Pep's football does struggle a bit. Now, we haven't seen Arne Slot have to go through that yet, but I feel confident saying that Arne Slot, from what I saw last year, is adaptable, because I didn't expect us to play the way we did last year when he came in, because it was quite different from what he done at Feyenoord. So I'm now seeing that shift towards a more atypical Arne Slot setup. I'm expecting to see a further improvement on that basis, especially with the fact that we've improved the squad.
It's also, I look at one player, and everyone's been raving about him for quite a while, and Ryan Cherky, and I just think to myself, a player of his ilk and his quality and the kind of player that he is, does it mold well with Pep? Because I've seen players like him under Pep, and it just didn't work out. I saw Mario Götze, who was individually an incredible footballer, but at Bayern, it just didn't work out for him, especially under Pep. And Götze has come out and said how much he hated working with Pep because of the lack of individuality and such a rigid system. I think if they're playing Reinders and Rodri and putting Cherky as that main creative player, but they have to play in a certain way, I don't know if they'll get the best out of him. I don't know if all this would work as a lot of people are thinking.
I'll be honest, I don't expect Cherky to start in the way that people do. I think he's going to run Rodri, Reinders, and Bernardo Silva.
So who plays right wing and left wing then?
Savio and Doku. Or Foden.
And then again, that front, that wing lineup.
That wing lineup is probably no. I'll be honest, Ram. That wing lineup is probably the best, because if you watch how they played the Club World Cup, Man City have had a weirdly, a joke of a football up front for the last how many years in Erling Haaland, and yet they've never built a system that plays to him. It's always been, we'll play Man City style of football, and he has to work around that. Hence why so many games we've watched in the past how many years, Erling Haaland makes about 15 runs a game and never gets found. But what I've seen in this Club World Cup now, I don't know if it's just for this tournament or if it's going to be a long-term thing. City are playing quick wingers out wide, and the wingers are being told to get one-on-one with the fullback, drive into the box, and fire it across, because Haaland will be there. The advanced midfielders are being told, get into positions, either get it to the winger in a dangerous spot or put the ball in, and Haaland will be there. For the first time since he joined in 2022, I feel that Man City are building a system and building a team around Erling Haaland rather than building a team in spite of him. That's why Doku and Savio are important, because as limited as they are at scoring goals, which I'm not going to argue against, those two are incredible one-on-one against fullbacks and can put a decent enough ball across the face of goal. And when you've got Haaland, who reads the game like no other, I think that's the real worry.
Do you think it makes them one-dimensional, though? Because I'm not even talking about their weak point. I'm talking about arguably their strongest point. And I get the whole point that they're gonna literally give the ball to Haaland to put away every single high quality chance. But from that, doesn't that make them a little bit one-dimensional? And you're like, if you can't get the service to Haaland, then what do you do?
No, because they can just change it another way. So let's say they go Doku and Savio and it doesn't work out. For whatever reason, the fullbacks are limiting them. Then they go, right, okay, it's not working. Let's get Marmoush and Foden on and play them in a different way. Play them as 2 10s. And then we push the fullbacks really high up. Then that's why we bought Aït-Nouri, because he's a really good attacking fullback. And I do think they're going to end up buying a different right back. So we bought this right back who's really attacking and going forward. And then we can play it in a different way. What Man City have there is fluidity. The problem was before this, they would buy Doku, they would buy Savio, they would buy Mahrez, they would buy Grealish, whoever. They would buy such different types of profiles and ask them to play the same way. Now, again, I'm basing it off 3 games here. It might all change once we get to actual football. But in these 3 games, it seems like Pep Guardiola has built multiple systems to suit different profiles. So if he's got wingers playing, he's got the system built to allow the wingers to go one-on-one with the fullback. Whereas if he's going to play Foden and Marmoush, he'll have them tucked in narrower to the striker, and Haaland will be asked to do a different job. That's the worry, is that they've now got a bit more flexibility about them. Because last year, they were predictable. Even Man City been predictable for about 4 years. We all knew what City were going to do for about 4 years now. But it's a different thing stopping them. Last year, they were stopped multiple times. So I think now he's changed it up a bit and he's getting multiple systems where he can be flexible throughout. And that's the worry. But I still think, despite of that, Liverpool's squad's better. We've got a manager who can adapt. We've got players who, and we've got the key difference makers in key areas. You know, we've still got Salah. You know, I think what people forget about last year, we won the league with our striking options getting a combined 10 goals.
And I think that's the thing, because not only do we have the quality, but we also have the flexibility as well. Like you talked about how flexible City's attacking lineup is. Our one's just as flexible. We have 2 different types of left wingers. One that's a little bit more direct, who loves to cut in and take a shot on, and someone who likes to dribble past players. Like if you now dumbing it down to the type of profiles that we have, it's just that we have the quality and also the versatility of the players that we've got, and added on top of that. That's why I just see the gap between us and City being that big, in my opinion.
Listen, really well broke down, guys. Viewers, give us your views, give us your opinions on that.